All Islam is another form of communism. It's a political ideology that people have put their faith in, thinking that it will work, when all the evidence proves that it doesn't work. Because where is the caliphate? Where is the communist utopia? It doesn't exist.
So how would you change it?
How would I change it? By offering something better, which is the Christian faith.
That in a way creates more of a clash than unity.
Exactly, so your priority is not any investigation of what is true. Your priority is simply to embrace that which unites the most people. Do you have a problem with killing people for changing their religion? So you got a problem with Islam. Do you have a problem with saying that it's okay to have slaves?
I'd rather not answer a load of questions.
Of course they're loaded questions, but our society has been indoctrinated not to ask the important questions because truth isn't important.
Islam, the people that you mentioned, the extremists, it's a minority of Islam.
Yeah.
There are even extremists of Christians. So
How many? I agree with you. The premise of your argument is sound. And what are you making by that?
religions, their foundations lay in love. The majority of the people that follow a religion are humble, are peace, are kind to other people. The people that you're mentioning, these minorities of these religious groups, are minorities. They don't make up the majority.
Where are you getting this information from?
From my own experience.
From your own experience. So it's not connected to any study of the religions themselves.
Oh yeah.
So it is or it isn't? Okay, so you know with certainty through your study of the religions that they all teach the same foundation of love.
They may not teach it in the same way, as in they may, for instance, there's different characters, you want to call them, different morals of the stories, but they all try to spread love in some way or form.
Right, hold on one second. There's a number of problems with what you're saying. And I would hesitate to guess. What's your name, brother? Peter? Or I would hesitate to guess that actually you aren't arguing from any empirical study at all. That you are arguing from a political narrative that you have received, that has been given to you by public education, that you've received from the media, from school.
And from my own experience in religion.
Right.
I've actually framed away from the media what they try to tell us about the religions.
Okay, so you got it from school, you got it from your personal experience.
I got away from that.
I find a great deal of correspondence between what you're saying and the messages that I receive from the media, and I don't think that's accidental. I don't think that's accidental. So I would argue to you that you're more influenced than you realise. Now, let's just deal with human experience vis-a-vis the authorities of the religions. I agree with you that there are many, the vast majority of Muslims that you encounter in the world are good people. And the vast majority of Christians in the world are good people. And the vast majority of Jews you'll meet in the world are good people. Now, in terms of what those religions teach, that doesn't matter a jot. Doesn't matter a damn. Because religions are not democracies. Religions, by their nature, work from authorities. Yeah. So they work not on democratic principles, i.e., if most of the people in a religion are good people, therefore the religion teaches good things.
That's correlation. Correlation, not causation.
Well, no. So what we need to do is we need to look at the realities of what is taught in the religious texts. Agreed?
Okay, but
agreed?
if you're saying that the majority are good people, like the majority of Jews are good people, etc., then from their behaviours and from their actions, you can get a good idea of what their their holy book is teaching, regardless of whether they're Jew, Hindu.
But if you're going to make that kind of argument, then what you need to do is you need to look at the history and the fullness around the globe. Because as Christians, we don't need to receive any lectures from liberal society about what it means to live under Islamic State. Because we have lived under Islamic State. We lived under it in the Iberian Peninsula. We lived under it in Eastern Europe. We lived under it in the Middle East and in North Africa, and we still do. And what it has meant for us as Christians, our history, separate from any kind of political propaganda that you might receive elsewhere, or any kind of propaganda that you might receive from a Muslim here at the corner, is what it has meant for us is subjugation, humiliation and persecution. Now, by Muslims, yes, in an Islamic state. Right, this quid pro quo argument doesn't stand up, because what you need to do is measure the faiths by what the books teach. What the books teach.
How are you going to put that on a tangible measure? You can't measure. How can you measure? It's something that it's not possible. So you can't measure what these books teach. You can't put them along the same line in that sense.
Are you sure? Are you sure? What does Christ teach? Come on, you studied all religions. You know they all teach fundamentally the same thing. So what does Christ teach?
I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit high right now, so it's hard for me to...
Okay. Brother, I would suggest to you that you have been fed a lie and you are believing it.
Tell me then. What did Christ
the different religions teach different things. Okay?
Try to give me a snippet.
So, I'm going to try and give you a snippet.
Yeah.
Christ fundamentally taught a value system, an ethic of love. Right? So what does that mean? It means that as an individual, I love the Lord my God with all my heart, mind, soul and strength. It means that I love those within the house of faith, and I love and serve them as Christ loved and served them. No. My religion is not defined by your liberal propaganda. And what the state has taught you...
I'm telling you, I've read it in the Bible, look, that it doesn't teach, Jesus doesn't teach Christians to only love Christians. If they're not Christians, if the sheep aren't part of your flock, then you still love them and treat them as your own.
But if you had not interrupted me, you would have heard my next statement, which is that you should also love your neighbour as you love yourself, and that you should love your enemies, and that you should love your mother and father. Okay, have you got any problem with this so far? No problem. No one ever does. And this is the amazing thing about Christ's teaching, is when you really look at what Christ taught, no one has a problem with it. Okay, and how do we express that? We express that individually towards God and outwardly towards other people and towards our brothers and sisters, and collectively we do the same. We express it towards God and then we express it outwardly towards other people. And the fruit of that has been self-evident in those countries that have been influenced by the Christian faith. They have become the envy of the world. The world goes to them.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, the evidence which seems... when the Syrian refugees had a choice between fleeing to Muslim countries or fleeing to Christian countries, they chose Christian countries, not Muslim
That's different
ones.
from being the envy of the world.
Do you know why? Because there's no refugees in Islam, as I understand. There's no status for it.
What you just said about being the envy, Christian countries being the envy of the world, what you're just saying that they have no link to each other.
Well, I would say that, I mean, it's a complicated argument.
Why are they not going to the Islamic countries?
I mean, I don't know because I'm not in their situation, but
Brother,
saying that these countries are the envy...
underlying narrative, you are convinced, I can tell, to your heart and soul, that all religions are the same.
Not I'd say their foundations are the same.
And where is your evidence?
Through the mass of people that follow the religions, and through the love and through the connection that they can
have you ever spoken to a Coptic Christian?
I don't know.
Have you ever spoken to a Pakistani Christian?
No.
Have you ever spoken to a Syrian Christian? So you've never actually checked if the experience of religious minorities in Muslim-dominated countries is one of love and embracement, have you? You've never checked that.
That's because I'm the oppression.
And who's oppressing them?
Well, even if it is in those countries, the Muslim state, look at Nigeria. That's a majority Christian.
It's a secular state. It's a secular state.
Nigeria is 50-50.
And it's also a secular state. It's also a secular state. It's not a Christian state. Its constitution is secular. Because Christianity allows for secular constitutions. In our paradigm, the state and the church should be separate. Because the necessities of running a state changes over time. And if you codify it in a stricture of law, that law will date and become no good. I am telling you that you have been fed a lie and are believing a lie because you want to hope the best of all people, and that's a worthy sentiment. I'm not attacking the sentiment. I've made friends who are Muslims. I've dated Muslims. I've loved Muslims. Yeah? Right? I'm not anti-Muslim.
I didn't get that vibe. Yeah.
I'm not anti-Muslim. What I'm against is the teachings of the religion.
So how would you change it?
How would I change it? By offering something better, which is the Christian faith.
That in a way creates more of a clash than unity.
Exactly. So your priority is not any investigation of what is true. Your priority is simply to embrace that which unites the most people. And that is the problem with the liberal political narrative, is because it suppresses truth for a political end.
But with that truth,
It makes truth serve politics.
With that truth and with what we want to do with our actions, can it not it complements each other? Like with the truth that you're saying, what can we do but act more loving and try to unite people more?
So when
What other answer is there? apart
So
from
when
what has
so
been happening?
so when the caliphate comes along and they want to turn me into a dhimmi, what should I do? Yeah, exactly. You don't know.
What's a dhimmi?
Here you are. You're arguing a premise, and this premise is rooted in a lie, my friend. Peter, you've been lied
What's a
to.
dhimmi?
A dhimmi is a protected citizen in an Islamic state. But what that really means is we're protected but from the state itself, who will take away our lives, property and families if we don't pay the jizya tax, if we don't accept humiliation and oppression. And we have, and this is the point, because you ask any Muslim, they'll say, oh no, caliphate was wonderful, caliphate was wonderful. But you go and look into church history. You go and look at how Christians experienced caliphate. It was anything but lovely. Nothing like lovely. It was horrendous. When the Muslims came into Eastern Europe, they used to raid Christian villages and kidnap Christian children, and then forcibly convert them to Islam, form them into a group called the Janissaries, and then send them back to kill their own mothers and
How would
fathers.
you convert these?
Is that lovely?
No, but how would you convert these Muslims that you're saying? If you want to create change, how would you do it without force?
Well, what I'm doing right here, I'm not forcing anyone. No one is forced to listen to me. Anyone can walk away at any time. I simply offer a better alternative to you than the political lie you've been fed, and to every Muslim that can hear my voice, and to any atheist that can hear my voice. Because Christ truly is the best alternative. But standing in the truth is more important than unity. Standing in the truth is more important than social cohesion. You've been fed a lie because you've been indoctrinated. The state has indoctrinated you. Public education, media influence, rap songs, all the rest of it. They've influenced you and formed your mind to believe a false narrative. And that false narrative is that every religion is the same, so therefore they can all be as good as bad as one another, so it's not really important, so everyone just get along. Go out and buy things, go out and shop, because really that's what's important, is what you own and what career you have. Not truth, not moral systems, not an ethical code. You've been lied to.
And then die for sinners who had broken that law.
What I can say is that I still find it depends on what you look for in these religions. I can honestly say it depends on what you look for.
Yeah.
So, like there is morals to be learned from all religions. There are good morals to be learned from
I'm not
all
denying
religions.
that. Not denying that there's good things in all religions.
So,
I'm just saying that just because there are good things in all religions doesn't make all religions good. You see, that doesn't follow. Just because other religions may agree with the Christian faith about certain points, like not killing your children, doesn't mean that everything else they teach is also good. Because Islam teaches a lot of things that I can recognize as being good. Humility, self-discipline, standing up for your community. All of these things we have in the Christian faith. Prayer, giving to charity. All of these things we have in the Christian faith. I don't need Islam for that. Christianity teaches it me. But here's what Christianity teaches that Islam doesn't. It says to slaves that if you can, get your freedom. There's nothing like that in Islam. It says that the moment you become a Christian, that the thing that should mark your life is love. You don't find that in Islam. In Islam, it's about this perfect system of laws called Sharia that will miraculously solve all our problems, even though Muslims can't make it work in their own countries and that there is no Islamic State anywhere in the world. So the whole project of Muhammad has failed already, but the Christian project is still going strong. The pursuit of justice, the pursuit of love, the pursuit of virtue. Do you know why? Because they're not socio-politically contingent things. They're fundamental metaphysical truths that we find in the nature around us and within ourselves. So we cultivate virtue that makes the better man, and that better man will then make a better society. All Islam is another form of communism. It's a political ideology that people have put their faith in, thinking that it will work, when all the evidence proves that it doesn't work. Because where is the caliphate? Where is the communist utopia? It doesn't exist. You know? But here's what Christ says. He says love. And then love a bit more. And then love until it hurts. And then love some more. Now, I am yet to meet the person that has a problem with that. But I have a problem with a system of laws that would make me into a second-class citizen. I have a problem that would justify the reintroduction of slavery. I have a problem with a system of laws that would do things like kill people for changing their religion. I have a problem with that. Do you have a problem with killing people for changing their religion? So you got a problem with Islam. Do you have a problem with saying that it's okay to have slaves?
I'd rather not answer a load of questions.
Of course they're loaded questions, but our society has been indoctrinated not to ask the important questions because truth isn't important.
I'll leave it here, but thank you for the conversation.
You look after yourself. Yeah. Brother, have you got a Bible?
Yeah, I've got one. Yeah.
All right, pick it up and read it, man.
Yeah,
Start with the Gospel of Luke. Yeah, if you've got any questions, come back and talk to us. You can follow us on Twitter and send me a private message. You can drop a message to SOCO Films on YouTube. We'll respond.
Okay.
If you want to meet again away from the park, I'm happy to do so. Yeah, do you want to?
I'll think about it.
All right. You know where we are.
Yeah, thank
you look after yourself.
Something a lot.
Yeah, pick up that Bible. Have a read of it.